Have you ever felt as if your mind simply refuses to slow down, even when the world around you stands perfectly still? There's an invisible hum beneath the surface, a quiet yet persistent storm swirling relentlessly behind your eyes. You try to remind yourself to breathe, to pause, and to be present. Yet your mind defies rest, wandering endlessly through layers of memories, dissecting conversations, and imagining countless futures that never materialize. Even when silence surrounds you, the inner noise remains overwhelming. You think, and then you find yourself thinking about thinking, observing others effortlessly moving through life, laughing freely, loving simply. You can't help but wonder what it must feel like to live without constantly analyzing each heartbeat. To you, life is rarely simple. Behind every smile lies a subtle question, and every farewell feels like a complex narrative unfolding. You experience life intensely, think profoundly, and care so deeply that it becomes both your greatest strength and your heaviest burden. But it wasn't always this way. There was a time when you simply felt without needing answers, experiencing life without constant interpretation. Yet somewhere along the journey, your mind evolved into a fortress, a protective shelter built from reason and vigilance, intended to shield you from unseen hurts. Psychology calls it hypervigilance, the mind's continuous readiness for danger, even when threats have long passed. Perhaps early experiences taught you that safety was never guaranteed, causing you to scan every moment for hidden meanings, always predicting storms before clouds could form. Yet such vigilance carries a heavy price. The more deeply you analyze life, the more distant you become from truly experiencing it. Each emotion is carefully examined, each moment placed beneath the microscope of reason. Eventually, you become both the actor and observer of your life, always interpreting rather than fully living. How can one find peace when the mind has forgotten how to rest? You continue wandering through sleepless nights, through dreams filled with unanswered questions, not out of desire for suffering, but because your soul refuses to rest without understanding. Yet, no one is born burdened by this endless questioning. The roots of a deeply analytical mind lie hidden in quiet, early moments of life, often invisible at first glance. Imagine a small child alone in a softly lit room, sitting silently on the floor, immersed in drawings as muffled voices rise and fall behind closed doors. The child doesn't yet comprehend the meaning behind those distant words, yet instinctively feels the strain, senses tension in pauses and trembling silences. Long before emotions had names, this child could read their subtle vibrations. Early on, they learned not to weep, not to demand attention, but instead to quietly observe, listening for danger in the spaces between breaths. Perhaps you recognize yourself in that child, standing uncertainly in a home where love was unpredictable, where affection came and went like fleeting weather. Maybe your caregivers weren't intentionally harsh. Perhaps they were simply distant, preoccupied by their own emotional storms, unaware that your small heart absorbed their unspoken pain. So you became quiet, the one who understood without needing explanation, the child who sensed the storm before clouds even appeared. Psychologists define this heightened state of alertness as hypervigilance, a survival tactic woven deeply into your nervous system, training you to find safety through awareness. At a tender age, your mind adapted to uncertainty by turning inward, becoming a sensitive radar that tirelessly scanned for the slightest emotional shift. Overthinking was born not from intellectual curiosity, but as an instinctive drive for safety. You told yourself you were observant, perhaps even wise, but beneath your insight was fear, a desperate attempt to control a world that felt relentlessly uncertain. Gradually, you became an expert in reading others, predicting conflicts before they arose, soothing tensions as if peace were your responsibility alone. Attachment theory clarifies this painful journey. When love and security are inconsistent, the child's mind desperately fills the emptiness by seeking patterns, deciphering silences, interpreting moods. Your body, burdened by emotional uncertainty, retreated into thought, turning feelings into puzzles and emotions into data points to analyze rather than experience. Thought became your sanctuary, yet such depth comes with profound loneliness. While other children laughed and played without burden, you carried questions too large for your young heart, silently exploring why people hurt, abandon, or conceal their truths. You aged emotionally long before your time, too awake, too aware, silently bearing emotions your small body couldn't contain. The world mistook your quietness for inner calm, never seeing that behind those gentle eyes was a restless mind whispering relentless questions. That child who observed everything learned to survive through relentless thought, but mere survival is far from truly living. What would it mean now to move beyond simply surviving? Reflection once protected you. Awareness once acted as your armor. Yet as time passed, that very skill you relied upon to navigate childhood uncertainty became the force isolating you as an adult. The child who silently observed grew into someone who now compulsively analyzes everything. Your intellect has become your second skin, polished, controlled, impenetrable. Others admire this gift. They seek your clarity, your insights, your ability to translate life's chaos into meaning. You're the interpreter, the philosopher, the one who can find reason in heartbreak and logic in confusion. But beneath this calm surface lies a quiet fatigue, the exhaustion of always having to know. You've spent your life thinking your way to safety, using understanding as a shield against pain. When someone hurts you, your response isn't anger, it's analysis. You instinctively trace their behavior back to their past wounds, childhood traumas, and hidden insecurities. By telling yourself you understand them, you try to believe you're immune to pain. Yet, deep inside, hurt still echoes, even though your mind forbids you from acknowledging it. How peculiar it is when empathy transforms into armor, when emotional wisdom distances rather than connects you. You read people with such precision that you anticipate their rejections before they even occur, shielding yourself from heartache by refusing to trust fully. This isn't cynicism, it's a sophisticated form of self-defense disguised as wisdom. Your insights have become the glass wall that separates you from the world you deeply wish to touch. Psychologists call this cognitive avoidance, an unconscious strategy to evade vulnerability by constantly analyzing. Neuroscience further illuminates this pattern, showing heightened activity in your prefrontal cortex, the rational center of the brain, paired with weakened emotional regulation in the limbic system. Your mind, adept at thinking, has forgotten how to simply feel. You believe knowledge will eventually bring peace, yet peace remains elusive, for true peace requires acceptance, not merely understanding. You might decode the mechanics of love, yet never truly feel loved. You might explain happiness without ever truly experiencing its warmth. Your analytical mind protects you from uncertainty, but it also confines you within its labyrinth. Occasionally, you meet someone whose presence nearly breaks through that barrier, someone who allows you to feel genuinely seen, not merely analyzed. But even then you pause, cautiously examining their words for hidden intentions, mistaking vulnerability for threat. Because once, long ago, it genuinely was. Thus you remain perpetually behind the glass, brilliantly articulate yet achingly alone, able to explain everything except why understanding itself never satisfies your heart. Yet even brilliant minds yearn to rest. Neuroscience describes your ceaseless mental activity as persistent activation of the default mode network, a neural circuitry involved in reflection, imagination, and meaning-making. In most individuals, this network quiets when at rest, but for you, it never sleeps, endlessly looping memories and possibilities long past their relevance. You don't simply experience life, you dissect and process every moment. Your brain isn't linear, but rather like an intricate web of connections, constantly linking emotions, thoughts, and memories. This heightened connectivity allows profound insights, but also causes overstimulation. Your mind doesn't merely think about the world, it absorbs its subtleties, internalizing joy and pain alike. Psychologists associate this with openness to experience, a trait marked by heightened sensitivity, curiosity, and receptivity to beauty and meaning. Yet such openness exposes you to emotional vulnerability because your perceptual doors never close. Everything rushes in. You feel the world's emotional currents pressing upon your consciousness. Empathy, your gift and burden, amplifies this overload. Mirror neuron activity compels you to internalize others' emotions as your own. You enter a room and immediately sense underlying tensions. The hidden suffering of others quietly echoes within your mind. Your emotional bandwidth remains perpetually occupied, a constant background noise of invisible emotional frequencies. Studies suggest deep thinkers alternate between two competing neural states, analytic logic and emotional empathy, which rarely coexist peacefully. You swing between these poles, caught in a perpetual internal tug of war between reason and feeling, logic and sensitivity. The complexity within you generates creativity, art, philosophy, and profound self-awareness. Yet the same neural pathways that offer clarity magnify your pain, plunging you into depths from which it can be difficult to emerge. Eventually, the mind that was your ally quietly becomes your tormentor, shifting subtly from contemplation into obsession. What began as curiosity now feels like a burden. You lie awake, replaying conversations, exploring infinite possibilities, unable to silence the ceaseless inner dialogue. Carl Jung termed this phenomenon the shadow, the parts of ourselves we suppress, which grow stronger in silence. For deep thinkers, thought itself becomes the shadow, turning your intelligence inward until insight transforms into imprisonment. You begin questioning whether your intelligence liberates or confines you, recognizing patterns everywhere yet finding peace nowhere. Cognitive science confirms that excessive introspection blurs the line between creativity and rumination. You interrogate life relentlessly, exploring love, suffering, and existence itself. Beautiful yet exhausting questions that distance you from others who seem content to simply live without knowing why. Nietzsche once warned, "Gaze too long into the abyss, and eventually the abyss gazes back." Now you sense this quiet dread, an existential ache born from awareness itself. Thought has become your sanctuary, yet also your prison. You notice your reflection in passing glances, quiet conversations, and restless nights. The mirror endlessly reflects your depth, but never your peace. You can't stop thinking, not because you adore knowledge, but because silence frightens you. Beneath your intellect lies a quiet fear that without continuous thought, you might finally have to confront the emotions you've long avoided. But perhaps awareness itself holds meaning. Could it be that the same depth that causes suffering might also hold the keys to profound healing? Within the heaviness of your mind lies the seed of profound healing. The key isn't to silence your depth, but to cultivate a new relationship with it. You've spent years trying to reason your way through every pain, every silence, every unanswered question. Yet, true healing arrives precisely when you recognize the limits of understanding. Not all wounds heal through comprehension, some heal only through gentle acceptance. Your liberation isn't found in endless thought, but in remembering how to feel again. Peace isn't the absence of thought, but the gentle courage to no longer believe every thought as truth. Your mind, tirelessly active, need not be silenced, only softened. Science calls this neuroplasticity, the beautiful ability of your brain to reshape itself through mindfulness, compassion, and new ways of engaging with your inner world. Those neural circuits that endlessly replay fear and analysis can gradually be rewired for rest and clarity. Mindfulness isn't about forcing silence, but gently holding your thoughts without drowning in them. You begin noticing life's small miracles again. Sunlight filtering softly through your window, the gentle rhythm of your breath, the warmth of a cup of tea between your hands. Psychologists call this practice embodiment, a return to the simple yet profound experience of being fully present within your body rather than lost in your mind. Only your senses, not your intellect, can truly experience life's subtle beauty. Slowly, you begin to set boundaries, not with the world, but with your own thoughts. You learn to let go of mental patterns that no longer serve your peace. Journaling transforms from analysis into gentle release, allowing silent burdens to escape onto the page. Creating art, writing poetry, or even simple movement becomes a bridge from the heaviness within toward a more liberated sense of self. Yet, perhaps your most courageous step toward healing is authentic connection. To speak your truth without explaining it. To sit quietly with another without dissecting their silence. You discover that living from depth is not about decoding life, but experiencing it directly, intimately, simply. The problem was never your depth, but the belief that depth required perpetual suffering. You were never too much, only profoundly awake in a world afraid of true seeing. The mind is a powerful ally, yet a harsh master. The moment you stop demanding answers and allow gentle awareness, you realize peace was never in explanations, but in the silence beneath every thought. If these reflections resonate, I warmly invite you to subscribe and explore more videos on our channel, where we journey deeper into self-discovery, healing, and the wisdom of mindful living.